Hello everybody, and welcome to the BRL Championship finale today at Abu Dhabi. We've got a great race on our hands. While although the driver's standing is already set with Cam Newton as your champion, we have a great battle between the constructors of McLaren and also the American team of Haas today. The two drivers, Skeppy and Ham, are going to try and defend that lead that they currently have, a 13-point gap over ERS Oxy as well as Mean Fern. So the track we have today is a very tricky one that's very tough to overtake on, except for the long back straight where you get a good slipstream and DRS. The tire compounds we have available this weekend are the softest of the Hypersoft, the medium of the Ultra, and the hardest of the Super Soft. I'm Danny Stevens with Dylan Beckwith, and we've got a good race for you guys tonight. As we now see, the drivers are starting to make their way out for their first out lap. It's going to be a good idea to get the pole here, especially on this first corner, because it's a really short run down in the first corner. So, I mean, going on pole is always good, but especially here, since it's such a short run, there's really no chance of getting slipstream to get the overtake done. So, definitely pole is an advantage.
Yeah, obviously very one of my personal favorite tracks on this calendar. Really great place to have a finale race. Obviously, we've had some down-to-the-wire races in this season, but I guess we'll kind of see who comes on top within the constructors.
All right, well, Skeppy's the first one out on his out lap. He is currently on the Ultra Soft tires. We now enable the tire vision on the display for you guys. There we go. Yeah, so Skeppy is going out on the Ultra Soft tire right now. As I said earlier, that is the medium compound this weekend, and so that's much easier to go on later into the stint. So it's probably more ideal for that one-stop strategy to start on that medium Ultra compound tire, but we'll see if anyone can stretch out the hypers like I believe they did in the AOR race this year, where they were able to one-stop starting on the hypers. So we'll see what works out in the end here, whether that sheer pace with a shorter stint works, or that longer stint with the not as ideal pace, but a more consistent pace as the run goes on. As Skeppy now comes around the final corner to start his time, we'll see what he can do with those tires.
Yeah, obviously I think tire degradation might play a factor in this race, but I think we're going to see some quick lap times here as everyone wants to be on pole just to get an advantage over the others in this in the beginning stages of the race.
All right, well, here comes Skeppy in the first real heavy braking zone of this lap. Hits those apexes rather nicely, and he's going for a late one right here with the late entry. Gets the power down on the back straightaway, and like I said, this is probably the best overtaking place for the race itself, because you get a lot of slipstream and a lot of DRS down the straightaway, and as I've mentioned that, it's also important in qualifying if you could maybe get a toe off the car in front. That can gain you a solid tenth or two down that long straightaway. Here he comes now down the second DRS straight. Seems to be a rather solid lap so far, no visible mistakes. And like I said, it's going to be very important for him to put the car up on the grid, because it is a battle with him and his other teammate of ERS Ham Newton, to try and defend that constructors lead that they have over the McLarens right now at that 17-point gap.
Yeah, it looks like ERS Oxy on his out lap trying to maybe possibly get the advantage if Skeppy makes a mistake here on his first time lap.
Well, as you say that, Skeppy did just make a mistake, because he slid going into the right-hander there of the 90-degree corner right before the underground, not underground, but under tunnel of the hotel right there.
Yeah,
so
I think that was
definitely not an ideal racing line, as he does jump to the top, but that's really because of the compound as opposed to the super soft that RBR used on his first lap. And this weekend, unlike we did a couple weeks ago against Mexico, we are going to give RBR a bit more attention in this session, as he was able to snag the pole position in that race. He's definitely someone that can, set a time and do very well, as we saw in Mexico. So we're going to pay a bit more attention to him this weekend. We apologize for that mistake in Mexico, for forgetting about him almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of tell when where all these drivers are, when pretty much people, as we saw in Mexico, can pretty much come out of nowhere. I mean, everyone has an equal opportunity almost to show what they got. Oh, ERS Oxy.
Well, this is disaster for the McLarens, as they're trying to get that battle done today for the constructors fight, and I mean, obviously, retiring before even setting a lap is not the way to do that. You want to be up on the grid as much as you can to get as many points as possible in the race, but ERS Oxy's decided to retire. Either he crashed, we're not able to see it because his car is now ghosted and disappeared on track, but he either crashed or is apparently doing a last to first challenge. I don't know, he retired really early there.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
That's quite interesting. I guess Mean Fern is going to have to pull out some magic lap here. I guess he really needs this pole position now to kind of save his team.
Yeah, well, it looks like Mean Fern is committing to that ultra soft trial. Actually, that's really early in the session. We might see him go out on hypers at the end, but for now he is on the ultra soft tire. The McLarens are very well known to start on that middle compound. Several times this season they've done that, and it's worked out relatively well as they seem to pick up a lot of good points in the later stages of the race when everyone else's tires start to fall off and they have to pit the second time. So we'll see if that works out for him in the end. Currently, Deer Hunter is your fastest lap time. He did go out on that Hypersoft compound. He ran a 134.4, which is currently 1/10 ahead of ERS Ham Newton, who's also on the Hypersoft compound. That could be the pole fight right there, but as I said, you cannot count out some of these other drivers like RBR as well as Ferrari Nut, who established his pace in Mexico the other night.
Yeah, currently RBR is the only person on the super softs, but I think he's on his fast lap here, so we're going to see what he can do compared to some of the other drivers on the softer compounds.
Yeah, well, what RBR, like I've done this in my time many times, is what he might be trying to do is he selected that harder compound allocation for the weekend, and that allows you to get 2 runs in on harder compounds in qualifying. So, whereas if you just choose the balanced, you only get 1 set of ultras and no sets of any other tire aside from the hypers. You're basically committed to only running 1 lap time because you don't want to have to start on that hypers. So if you choose the harder allocation, you get a banker lap in on that harder tire, the super soft, like he just did. I believe that's what he's going for this weekend. So not too much of a surprise if he comes out on ultras there at the end.
Yeah, I think it's all about kind of playing your cards right in this session. I think it's all about strategy, pretty much doing the best you can to gain an advantage, and I think that's what he feels is best suited for the conditions at this moment.
Well, Boss Cookie with a hell of a lap time, I'd say. He's only 4/10 off the pole time, the provisional pole time at the moment on a harder compound in those ultra soft tires. So it's definitely a good starting lap for him early in the session. We're only a couple minutes in.
Yeah, really some really great laps, even in these first first few minutes. But I think we'll see the laps just start to drop, or lap times at least start to drop. As ERS and Deer Hunt are probably going to be up there. I would assume the whole session is they've been pretty much contenders the entire time. Oh, it looks like Boss Cookie ran out of fuel, so that's definitely gonna lose him some time there. He's on the back straightaway.
Boss Cookie's teammate.
Yeah, turn 11.
Boss Cookie's teammate GK Phantom just moved up to 5th, so solid for the Toro Rossos at the moment. But yeah, as you said, running out of gas is not ideal, but I believe he'll make it around. Normally the car will switch to low fuel mode, cough it up, and get to the end of the pit lane there.
Yeah, definitely will. It might send it back a little bit, but I guess we'll see. Definitely not what he's expecting, I guess.
So someone we should also pay attention to is Ard. He's currently on his lap, I believe. He's on the ultra soft tires as he now comes through the final couple corners here in the 3rd sector. He's known to have good pace in qualifying, especially after that pole position in Circuit of the Americas a few weeks ago. So let's see what he can do across the line here. And he's starting his lap. I'm sorry, it did not say out lap. So this is now his lap as we ride on board. Flips the apex in turn 1 rather. Ooh, and he loses the back end on the exit curb there a little bit, but I don't believe there's too much time lost as he holds it full throttle through those next couple corners. It's a solid first sector, if you ask me, as he now goes into the 2nd. Doesn't hit those orange sausage curbs. It's very important to avoid those. They can really unsettle the car. As he goes for the late apex onto the giant back straightaway. And you'll notice here as we ride on board, the back straightaway tends to shift to the left a little bit halfway down, as you can see right about here. So drivers need to not get caught off guard and accidentally hold the wheel straight. They got to weave left a little bit right there. Could be a little off-putting in the race when you're battling other drivers. But anyways, we continue with Art as he now comes onto the 2nd DRS straight. Very clean lap as we can see so far. This will probably go up near the top, even though it is on the ultra soft tires. We'll see what happens as he crosses the line. as he now dives into the third sector now. Misses the apex a little bit, but cleans it up with a solid exit through there. As he now hits the left. Oh, and he clips the sausage curve and the bollard on the inside a little bit there, but I don't think too much time was lost. As he now sets up that late entry for a very tight corner right there. That's a very deceiving 90-degree right-hander. Feels a lot faster than it actually is, but anyways, here he comes to the penultimate corner. I really hope he doesn't pull into the pits because I'm known to commentate on, and he pulls into the pits. So that looks like he might have had an invalidation then, because that was for sure his lap. He was pushing the whole time.
Yeah, I think Deer Hunter is actually on this lap though, if you want to commentate on that one.
Yeah, well, anyway, so yeah, I mean, he must have, I guess when he cut that corner and hit the bollard, there must have been an invalidation because that was for sure his lap time. He hasn't set one yet, and there would have been no other reason to be on that lap, so I apologize for that as we now see Deer Hunter riding down the back straightaway. He has put on another set of Hypersoft tires. Looks like he's trying to set 3 quick lap times here. Gives more of a chance to set a good lap time with 3 attempts rather than 2, as a lot of drivers will go for, but we'll just listen along and listen to the sweet hum of the Ferrari engine as he now comes into the third sector. Comes to that very tight 90-degree right-hander as he's approaching traffic right here in the Williams up ahead. He's definitely going to want to make sure that guy gets out of the way. We'll see what happens here, but either way, he's clipping his apexes very well. This better be a lap time as he comes out of the penultimate corner. Here he comes to the final corner. Very deceiving corner as a very late apex there, as with a lot of corners here. Across the line, and he goes back up to the top. With a 133.9, he is currently 3 tenths ahead of ERS Ham Newton, who had just taken over pole position a minute ago. So definitely the battle for pole is shaping up between those two. As of now, as BRL Maverick moves up to third with a 134.6. Skeppy a 134.7. So a good showing for the Haas boys today. Remember, they need to control that constructor's lead that they currently have. So definitely going to plan so far with a 2-4 at the moment.
Yeah, looks like Deer Hunter might have issues here. He's in 8th gear, kind of. Actually, he might be letting some people. I think he's letting some people by him. Never mind. But I think
he's also might be on low fuel then, if he's going to the higher gears then.
He could be. Yeah, but I think we just saw BRL Maverick was in the pits just a moment ago. I think he's timing the start for maybe 1 or 2 time lapses at the end here. And I think that might be Deer Hunter's strategy as well.
Well, here comes Boss Cookie on the back straightaway. He's another one that can be a bit of an X factor in qualifying. Sometimes he's really good, and other times he's around 5th. And he's currently in 5th at the moment, actually, as I say that. But we'll see what he can do as he crosses the line at the end of this lap. He's on the Ultra Soft. No, he's on the Hypersoft tire now, so he switched from the Ultra to the Hypers, as I expected earlier. So this will be respective with the time of Deer Hunter, unlike the one from before, because he was on that harder compound. So we'll keep an eye on his time as we now look down the field. Looks like Mean Fern is coming to complete a lap on the Hypersoft. A bit wide there. That might have been an invalidation, so we'll keep an eye on him here. Let's see if he pulls into the pits or if he stays out. And he's staying out, so I guess it still counts. Here he goes to cross the line. And it's going to be a 135. It looks like that was actually his out lap. So even if that invalidated, that's okay. So whatever, here he comes. Apologize for the bit of desync with his car there as it's clipping around the track a little bit. See Boss Cookie's coming to the final corner now. Let's keep an eye on this lap time right here as he crosses the line. To the top,
Whoa!
There he is, a 133.8. Awesome, yeah. So
that was
that's
unexpected.
10th ahead of Deer Hunter right there.
That was a bit like last week with RPR.
Oh, and he's retired, so he's confident with that lap time. He thinks that can buy him pole position. Like I said, he's known to be an X factor in qualifying, and this weekend he's definitely showing that potential.
Yeah, almost looking like I'm thinking that most of these drivers in the top 5 or top 6 have actually always had a good scrap for the pole in the season so far.
Deer Hunter's being backed up into the pits right now. He's going to have to be really quick and putting more fuel in the car and strapping on that new set of Hypersauce because He's got about 20 seconds, I'd say, before it's like possible for him to go back around and do another lap time as RBR retires. So yeah, so he is going to start on the Ultra Soft. He's very far down the grid at the moment, 8th place. Definitely below the standards of him, but as I said, he's on the Ultra Soft, which is a harder compound, so you can't expect them to pull a miracle out. Oh, wait a second, there was a Williams there, beached in the wall. Alright, so one of the Williams was in the wall there, at the pit entry wall right there. Not sure which one that was. Let's see as we ride on board. The car's gone. Yeah. Oh, that must have been him then.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't actually retire and he might have wrecked on his lap.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, well, definitely drama in qualifying then with ERS Oxy retiring extremely early. Ard hasn't set a lap time yet, and RBR is out now.
Oh, here we
He's
go.
not able to
BRL
set a lap at the
on his
end,
out
so.
lap right now.
Yeah, I mean this is really it right
close.
here. In the final 2 minutes, everyone's going to go out and set that final lap time, and because all the rubber's in the track now. They've been out there for a solid 15 minutes. The more cars on track for the longer amount of time, the more rubber there is in the track, and therefore the more grip. So we're going to see a lot of drivers come out here at the end, I'd expect. Aside from Boss Cookie, who decided to retire there a little bit early. So was that too early for him to set that lap time? That's the question. Let's see if anyone could beat him here.
I don't think it's a little too early, considering that we've had some drivers retire without even setting a lap. ERS, obviously a crucial one, especially for the Constructors' Championship, so that's going to be definitely not great for the McLaren team coming into this race.
Oh, Mean Fern's running out of time here as he now cuts the entire chicane at the beginning of the second sector. I think he left the pits a little late. He's got 57 seconds to cover 2/3 of the track now, so let's see if he can make it. And that's important for his team because, like I said, ERS Oxy has retired very early, so this is the only guy showing up for the team that's second in the Constructors right now as he cuts even more corners. He's just trying to get to the line.
Yeah, I think he's definitely desperate right now. I mean, he doesn't have very many other options. He's trying to save his team right here, trying to get as many points as he can, trying to get further up the grid. And again, another corner cut, just trying to, get one more lap in.
All right, anyways, here they come. The first across the line is Gear Hunter, so we're going to keep an eye on him right here as well as the drivers behind because they might get a bit of a toe off of him since he's the first one out, but here he comes to the first sector. Looks like a very tidy corner. He did not run wide. Oh, he didn't make it.
Start his lap. Oh, just barely.
Yeah, so that's disaster for McLaren then. Neither of their drivers are able to set a respective time then, as Mean Fern wasn't able to set that pole chance lap there at the end. But anyways, the eyes are back on the drivers who have the chance to set the pole. Deer Hunter, ERS Ham Newton, Ferrari Nut is out. Oh no, Ferrari Nut isn't out there, so it looks like he's done. BRL Maverick is out there, as well as Scappy. So these are the guys we're really going to focus on. Deer Hunter's the first one to lead the charge, so I'm going to keep an eye on him as he now comes down the second DRS straight. He's got a bit of a toe off the Renault ahead. That's either Adam X or Formula Rager. He's got a bit of a toe there, so that might work out in wonders for him as he clips the apexes beautifully there. He gets a little bit of the sausage curves, but not too much, as his car was able to kick into position there by those curves. As he now goes through the first kink, second kink. Once again, got to be hard on the brakes there for the right-hander. He hits that nicely. Under the hotel he goes, and definitely did not track extend there, so that's good for him. A lot of drivers have been caught off by that corner so far, as he now comes to the penultimate corner, keeps it between the white lines, and here he goes to the final corner. What's it going to be for Deer Hunter? As he crosses the line, it is a 133.7, which puts him on provisional pole at the moment, but like I said, there's a lot more drivers coming. ERS Ham Newton, penultimate corner, here he comes, the final corner now. What's this time going to be? What happened?
Ard is out of fuel.
Well, ERS Ham Newton is only able to go up to third, so Boss Cookie on that earlier time that he said is going to start second, as Deer Hunter is in pole sitter.
Ard is going to get jumped by, it looks like ERS, I think, in that final lap he got.
Yeah, ERS finished. ERS was promoted to third there at the end, I saw, so I think it's Skeppy still on the lap. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so your pole sitter, as I said, is Deer Hunter on that 133.7. A beautiful lap time there at the end, barely beating Boss Cookie by just under a tenth. .089 seconds. That was a wonderful lap by him. ERS Ham Newton starting third for Haas. Like I said, Haas is definitely doing a better job right now in controlling that constructors fight, as they're third and fifth for the beginning of the race. Meanwhile, the McLarens are down in 11th, as well as, he's in dead last. So 11th and 18th for the McLarens. So yeah, they've got their work cut out for them. So we're definitely gonna keep an eye on that. I mean, ERS and Skeppy are just going to try and control it from up front. I mean, they've got the position advantage, so really they can just try and set the pace from McLaren's behind and try and control the track position by undercuts. It is raining in Abu Dhabi. Hold up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just broken the matrix. We are there. It is raining in Abu Dhabi. So for all the drivers who qualified on the ultra soft as well as the super soft tire, suck it. You're starting on the wets or the intermediates. So we've got a hell of a race coming up then. I mean, none of the drivers, I can guarantee you none of the drivers have done any wet practice. So this is going to be quite interesting if you ask me.
I have a feeling there's going to be many crashes, many off tracks. Overall, just a phenomenal race.
Yeah, who do you think's gonna win it today?
Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna say RBR is gonna come from the back. He's gonna get the undercut on. Oh, okay. Formation lap starting here, but
it's a formation lap. Yeah.
All right. So I was thinking, possibly. Possibly RBR coming. He may not win it, but I think definitely coming up to the front of the pack, trying to get a tire advantage on some of these other drivers, because we've seen the strategies that he's used. It's actually so is Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter has been using some of those. I think was it Mexico when we saw him playing some mind games with some of the other drivers.
Well, no, that was, I believe, those Boss Cookie who was holding the DRS. But either way, I was speaking to Deer Hunter actually just last week, and he was saying that he believes that his wet pace is not as strong as his dry pace. So he's got the a Red Bull just shot way off track there.
Oh, two drivers are disqualified from the formation.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That caught me
but anyway, so Deer Hunter, he's got the track position. He's just got to try and hold on to it, because this is definitely not the kind of situation that suits his driving style. Boss Cookie, I'm not too sure what his wet pace is, but ERS Ham Newton has shown in the past, as well as in AOR China just last weekend, that he does have very solid wet pace. So if you're going to ask me, I'm going to predict my one to watch today is ERS Ham Newton. I think he might be able to win this thing. Oh, but Deer Hunter's hitting the cones there on the formation lap. Maybe showing the struggle of grip that he's gotten right now, but either way, definitely everyone's got to try and get as much warmth in their tires as they can, because the rain makes it so much more difficult.
I think we need to take a second to realize what is actually happening here. I don't think we've had a wet race this entire season, and the one time it is at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, well, Skeppy and BRL Maverick were disqualified after the first corner from the formation laps. They haven't been able to put any heat into their tires, so they're gonna look for them to get less than ideal starts off the line here. Maybe drivers behind will be able to pounce on warmer rubber from the formation lap, but yeah, here we come around the final corner. We're about to grid up as we see Boss Cookie and ERS Ham Newton making love there, clipped together as they now lining up on the grid.
One thing I was thinking about is this actually might be beneficial for me and Fern here. You could try and get some positions maybe in the wet. Maybe it's something that none of us know about. Maybe we can get some points from the McLarens.
All right, well, the final drivers are lining up there as we now see RS Oxy and Vander Stark lining up on the back of the grid. It's been a long season, but it ends today. BRL F1. It's going to end today in Abu Dhabi as we have 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and it's time to bring the action as they're now released a little bit late as there's a jump start for ERS Oxy. That's terrible for the McLarens now. That's going to reduce their chances even more as Deer Hunter gets a terrible start. Boss Cookie takes the lead. Deer Hunter makes contact with the full wing there. King Kirk is out of the race. He's left the session. I didn't even know if he was driving or if he was in the lobby, but either way, he's out of the session. Deer Hunter doesn't get a good start. He's gone from first to fourth there. Terrible start for him, as we now see everyone struggle on those intermediate tires. Very low grip in the rain here. This Boss Cookie's now the leader. Art in second. There's a spin between
the Fern making his way up. Wow, that was actually very impressive. He made it through that accident right there. That was one of the salaries, I think. Avenged King looks like.
As Avenged King is now out of the race, the Ferrari there just went straight into the wall on the exit of the hairpin. Anyways, back up to the front. Boss Cookie runs off track, cuts the corner, definitely struggling already with those intermediate tires in these conditions. Art is all over him. Where did Art come from? He started fourth, and right now he's challenging for the lead. As he now gets to the slipstream. Yeah, he doesn't take a look there. It's a little bit early to make a move, I'd imagine, but ERS Ham Newton was right behind him, so we've got a good battle right now for the lead between the top three drivers.
I hate to interrupt, but me and Fern is having a great battle here with these three drivers, BRL Maverick and Zero Venom here.
All right, yeah, we ride on board. Me and Fern right here. He's trying to go around the outside. BRL Maverick. As we're already seeing penalties being taken by ERS Ham Newton. So he's already got a 3-second time penalty on the first lap of the race, so this might be just telling of what's to come for the rest of this one.
I wouldn't necessarily worry about that now. I feel like a lot of the drivers are going to get penalties, but I guess we'll see how that shapes out during the rest of the race.
All of a sudden, Boss Cookie has a 2-second... according to the statistic, he has a 2-second gap on second place already. So Ard must have made a mistake there in the third sector, as ERS Ham Newton's taking a look there on the exit of turn 1. Deer Hunter's falling off a little bit right here, but he's not too far back. So if he's able to hold it together, he might be able to make some moves down the straightaway once he gets settled in, gets the slipstream, and might be able to make some overtakes.
Yeah, obviously, Deer Hunter's pace isn't exactly up to par with where he'd want him to be, but maybe he can try and push that little extra bit to try and get these positions that might be crucial later in the race.
All right, well, Dylan, your one to watch has already proven that he's a one to watch. RBR is already up at 5th place after starting further down the grid. That was a nice pass he just made on Skeppy, and Deer Hunter's now in his sights.
Yeah, definitely not a slush at all. He's definitely making light work of some of these faster drivers here. He's quickly catching up to Deer Hunter, and he might actually be a threat at the end of this lap.
Oh, man, so what a race we've got already. The most unexpected of conditions, an unexpected start there as we had a spin right as we entered the second sector. They were rather clean in the first corner, but the pole sitter Deer Hunter, as we said, not a good race to begin with. He might be able to come back in the end as ERS picks up another penalty. Yeah, that's not good for him. So ERS, we've seen it in the past. We've seen it in the last several races. He has the pace, but he's just very bad at picking up penalties. As we now see, Deer Hunter and Skeppy, but no, that was ERS Ham Newton. Both were in way off the track. As now Boss picks up the penalty. Oh man, see, I think the wet conditions are really making the drivers slide around a little bit, and they're sliding right off the track and past the blue paint on the outside there.
And that would make sense. Obviously, the wet is not very kind to these F1 cars here at this track. Obviously, not a ton of drivers have experience in the wet on this track, even in real life, as this is a bit of a dry track usually. I mean, at least 99% of the time. So obviously, everyone kind of on the same skill level here.
Yeah, well, it looks like the lead for Boss Cookie is starting to stretch out a little bit now to 2.3 seconds. Ard has now cleared ERS by 1.2 seconds. Deer Hunter is behind by another 9/10, and then 8/10 back is RBR. So they're all basically separated by about 1.5 seconds, about 1 to 1.5 seconds. So we'll see if these gaps start closing down, or if the wet is making it harder to keep up, because it's a combination of dirty air as well as low grip from the wet. So we'll see if anyone can make any moves as the stint goes on.
I think RBR definitely catching Deer Hunters. He's already made up 2/10 just in that last chicane there. He's already right on his tail, about 5/10 at this point, coming into this this straightaway here.
Yeah, well, what a race we've got so far. I mean, could you have asked for a better circumstance for the finale of BRL Formula One? What a wrap-up we've got here tonight. So definitely stay tuned. This is going to be interesting as the race goes on, because God knows how long these intermediates are going to run, because like hell, Pirelli ran a tire test in Abu Dhabi for the intermediates, so we have no idea if they're going to last very long at all or if they're going to be a dud tire. So we'll see how many stops these drivers decide to take, or if someone tries to just stay out on much longer, older tires and just tries to save time by not doing an extra pit stop. So a lot to watch as we see a lot of drivers fishtailing there at the final corner. And yeah, just one more thing to note is that it's definitely looking up for Haas right now in their constructors battle. The McLarens are down in 8th and 18th, so not a good start whatsoever for those guys.
No, definitely not. But I mean, me and Fern did start from pretty far back there, and he's made his way up to 8th. Obviously, ERS had a terrible qualifying session, not even setting a lap before retiring, and then now he's actually. I remember he had contact with him for, I think it was Ferrari now. And actually, he's up in 12th from dead last.
All right, we're on board with RBR here as he's tucked in the slipstream of Deer Hunter. Not close enough yet to make a move. Is he later on the brakes? He is as he closes in. Deer Hunter takes a bit of a later apex there, which sets him up for a better second apex there, but it doesn't look like he hit it properly. There's a bit of lag, actually kicks him forward a little bit more. So yeah, RBR is not going to be able to make a move this time around, I don't believe. As we now see, ARS Ham Newton is making a move for second place. So side by side for second place as they're going through the chicane right there, and Art is able to fend off ERS Ham Newton. So what a move there from him.
Yeah, this might help Deer Hunter a little bit to try and keep up with the guys in front of him, but he's also going to have to defend from RBR, who's on the attack right now.
Yeah, like as you just alluded to right there, when the drivers in front of you are going side by side, they're taking much wider and tighter apexes and lines than they really want to, since they're side by sides. That really allows that car behind to catch up. So yeah, Deer Hunter is definitely hoping that they keep doing more of the same, and it appears they will be doing more of the same as ERS is still all over Art.
Yeah, I think obviously these drivers all have a history with each other, some good, some bad. I think it's beneficial for Deer Hunter to just kind of get in their heads. I mean, I don't think he really needs to actually at this point. I think ERS wants a piece of Ard if he can catch up to him.
Yeah, well, Boss Cookie is running away with it at the moment. 3.2
goes wide and loses the entire gap that he's just made, and loses position to Skeppy. Wow.
Well, we were looking on board Ham on my screen there. I apologize for missing the action, but RBR, yeah, definitely a terrible mistake right there as he lost a lot of time, and as you said, a position. He's going to have to make that up as the race goes on now, so that'll be more fun to watch as he's going to have to fight his way back up.
Yeah, as the exit of 4 there, he just got a little bit loose, and the tail just kind of stepped out on the exit curving, and kind of he actually did a great job managing to save that, especially in the wet. But yeah, obviously cost him the gap that he had made, and also position.
Yeah, well, it looks like Art has been able to stretch the gap on ERS Ham Newton a little bit, so he's not under fire through these few corners as he was last lap. As actually now I say that, it seems that he got a poor run through there as now ERS closed back up. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this as they come through the final few corners here. Oh, but it appears RBR got a bit loose there on the exit there of the curb. ERS picks up, oh man, he's got a 5-second stop go now. Yeah, he's got to stop cutting the corners, man. He's really building penalties now. He's gotten 2-3 seconds, and now he's got a 5-second stop go. So not only is he not going to be able to change the tires for 5 seconds after pitting in the box during his first stop, but also an additional 6 seconds are going to be added at the end of the race. So not looking good for him right now as he's been passed by Deer Hunter. So there must have been a mistake there from ERS as we were looking at RBR's recovery after getting loose at the prior corner. Deer Hunter is now up into 3rd place, so he's fighting back some positions he lost there from starting on pole.
Yeah, I think now ERS and Skeppy right nose to tail here. There might be some team orders going on, and actually RBR, this might be his chance to catch up, as I think Skeppy's getting a little bit held up by ERS here.
As you said, team orders might come into play here because they are a title contender for the constructors, as we've said numerous times at this point. The gap between the two teams is 13. My apologies if I said 17 earlier. It is a 13-point gap between Haas and McLaren. So yeah, these two guys have got to just assess who's the faster driver, let that guy go, and that allows the best opportunity at scoring the most points. So we'll keep an eye on if they make the move here. It might be a little too difficult at the moment because RBR is putting Skeppy under fire right now. So the goal right now is to keep him behind.
Yeah, we see only about a 2-car gap between me and Fern.
Oh, no, here he goes. RBR up the inside of Skeppy, side by side as they dive into the corner. The end of the DRS straight. There's no DRS, of course, in the wet, but it is the second DRS straightaway as he gets the move done. And yeah, that's RBR back up into 5th. So he's definitely putting that recovery after the mistake he made a couple laps to good use all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think tires might actually be able to come into play a little bit sooner. The rain doesn't seem to be exactly getting any harder, so either maybe the inters might be a good option, or even if the rain starts slowing down, probably I bet we'd see a few drivers switch onto the dry compound.
Yeah, well, we don't have any access to the weather report, and this came from the spectator view, but we have no idea if this is going to go wet to the end or if it's going to dry up in the middle or even get even heavier rain there at the end. So we're just going to see what happens here as they all, as more penalties are picked up. Alan Hugo has joined the session.
I think we see.
I believe they were waiting for him at the beginning. That's why we started a few minutes later tonight, and he's now joined the session, so it's a little late for that, but he's here.
Yeah, we see RBR just set the fastest lap, and he's trying to shape up a move on ERS here, right behind him into this long straightaway. Maybe you can get the slipstream and make the move by the braking zone here.
Yeah, we ride on board RBR here. Not close enough yet. ERS is weaving a little bit, trying to break that slipstream, keep him from getting that additional horsepower down the straightaway from that slipstream. But it looks like RBR got a better shape up for the second apex here, and he did. So he's gotten a very he's runs a bit wide there, but he did get a good exit. He had a caution in second three. And that is the second where Boss Cookie's in. So let's take a moment to see if there's something going on over here. It does not appear that there's been any incident. ERS Oxy's in the pits, so the McLaren woes seem to be continuing as he's pitting very early in this race. It's only been 6 laps on those tires as he is a lap down almost right here, so not good for him as he's pitting already from dead last at the moment. So yeah, like we said, McLaren just not a good race for them. They needed a good result, and they're not getting it today.
As you say that, I think me and Fern is right on BRL Maverick here. He's trying to, he's been behind him for a few laps, and even from the beginning, he shaped a move, I believe, around the outside of him in the opening laps, and he's going to try and regain that position to go into seventh place here.
All right, well, we ride back on board with RBR. All over ERS Ham Newton now as ERS runs wide in the first corner. He runs wide on the exit of the first corner as well. Oh, and RBR, he almost opened the door for RBR there, but closed it immediately, and RBR had to stamp the brakes there and get off the gas. So maybe a little bit of mind games right there from ERS Ham Newton, but RBR is definitely not gonna be too happy with that as he's just trying to get through, as he's definitely the faster driver at this point in the stint. He's gonna set off a nice late apex here. See if he can get the better exit. It doesn't appear he got the better exit, even though he went for that late apex. So it appears ERS is going to hold this one off, but we'll see what happens as they get to the end of the straightaway. And yeah, ERS is going to hold the position as RBR is not close enough. So we'll keep an eye on this as the laps go on, but for now, ERS is doing a nice job at defending that position. Oh, as we say that, RBR got a very good exit there, and I should say ERS got a poor exit there, as they're now going to make a look there side by side as they dive into the corner. Let's see what happens. RBR is not as late on the brakes as ERS is, and ERS might push him out. The camera pans out of view, and it looks like ERS actually went off track there in the third apex. That might have been another warning for him. So and he runs wide again there at the exit of the next left-hander. So RBR, brilliant move by him, and for ERS, this has not been his race whatsoever. As NZL Venom is now out of the race. He was I believe that was a Red Bull, I believe, so he's now out of the race. Not good for him. SF1 Rhodes gains a position, his teammate from that, but not good for the Red Bulls there as they have an early retirement on only lap 9.
Yeah, I think Yeah, that's obviously not great. Almost some deja vu with the McLarens here. Even though actually Mean Fern's got the position from BRL there, up in the 7th. So now, if you can defend against that Mercedes, you should be in some clear air here.
Yeah, but unless we get a safety car or anything of the sort, it does not appear he'll be able to catch the Haas's ahead. That's a 10-second gap. And according to the constructors' standings, you would assume that the Haas boys are a bit quicker than them regularly from week in, week out. So we'll keep an eye on the gap between me and Fern and Skeppy ahead. But for now, it appears that Haas has this one locked down unless something changes, like a safety car. So, like, as of now, it's looking like Haas's race, but, you know, that could always change.
Yeah, obviously anything can change in the West, especially Abu Dhabi. How we haven't seen very much rain action for a very long time. RBR, let's just say he's already made up 8 positions since the start of the race. Already up to 4th position, right behind Deer Hunter here.
Well, this Ferrari nut is shaping up a move on Adam Max here. He got the better exit, but he touched the sausage curb on the inside. Like I said, that can really unsettle the car, as it did for him right there. As we had a caution in sector. Boss Cookie's out of the race! The leader! He has been leading from the beginning, and Boss Cookie is out!
He's on the... Wow. He went all the way to the outside of the track there.
Wow. Looks like drama there for the Toro Rosso of Boss Cookie. Oh, we gotta go to the back end there, but Boss Cookie.
Yeah, Vanderstark here. Watch. You'll see him.
I'm gonna look at the race director real quick and see exactly if that was a crash or disqualification. I believe that was
definitely
just
a crash. Definitely a crash.
Yeah,
I
terminal damage to
there.
Boss Cookie.
Wow.
Boss Cookie is wrecked out of the race from the lead. Oh man.
Yeah, it's such a gap too. What a shame.
And we've seen that before in real life Formula One. They can all be seen to be said and done with a leader far ahead, as we saw Sebastian Vettel at his home track in Hockenheim last season. But as we saw there that day, and we saw here today, anything can jump out at you. The wet conditions can cause a minor lockup that can keep the car from turning, and that can bring you right to the wall, as it did with Sebastian, possibly Boss Cookie right there. We'll try to talk to him at the end of the race to see what happens. Actually, we'll see if we can get in the party right now for a mid-race update from him. But not good from him at all right now.
Yeah, really, it's such a shame. It's been great all season. We've seen some great strategy from him over the past few races, and really just a great overall driver. It's a shame to see him end the season like this, but I guess that's kind of just how it goes.
All right, well, Boss Cookie has joined the party. If you just try to include your audio if you want. We just wanted to ask you, if we didn't catch it because you were so far up ahead. What exactly happened there in the 3rd sector? So it appears his mic may not be plugged in at the moment. I'm not sure. We'll get back to him in a second. But right now, Art is your leader. 1.4 seconds back is Deer Hunter. Do we have you, dude?
Yeah, so basically that long right-handed, the one that's like totally flat and the dry is like half throttle, and I pinched a bit too much and I was sliding and I slid earlier, so I thought I was fine, but I slid like right into the inside wall and I clipped my tire, and I died. And that sucks, man. I had like 20 minutes of practice and I thought I was like way off the pace here, but I ended up like almost getting pole and leading at the start by quite a margin. Crazy. I don't know. I thought I was really shit here.
Yeah, well, definitely not the race you're looking for. Actually, since we do not have the weather forecast available to us, were you able to look at the beginning? Is the rain going to go all the way to the end, or is it going to dry up halfway through?
It's rain to the end.
It's rain to the end. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. We've got a wet race in Abu Dhabi through and through.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, definitely not the race you were looking for. Just real quick before we continue with the broadcast here. What do you think of this season? Do you think you've got something to contend with next season? Because it appears you've established yourself as a contender when you have put the race together. Do you think you'll be able to do it next season?
I think so. If I can just not crash,
Yeah.
I mean, these last 2 weeks in Brazil, I was also in the lead in a pretty dominant fashion. I don't think there's a broadcast there, but I got pole and I drove away. And then I crashed again. And then I did the same here. So I feel like since next season is also tracks that I love driving. I think I could be if I just nail my consistency. Um, yeah, no, I definitely had a lot more pace later in the season than I did earlier. I just need to be more consistent. It's really all there is to it.
All right, well, yeah, so we're just going to get back to this real quick now as we have Ard leading the race unexpectedly.
Yeah, I
Definitely
think
got to
we,
be a little excited for that. Maybe put him off a little bit. Then all of a sudden he's the leader. As Deer Hunter appears to be reeling him back in now, as it's only 1.01. So as the stint's going on, it appears that Deer Hunter's regaining that pace that he had in qualifying that set him on pole.
Yeah,
As you were,
I just want to
as
say
you're
thank
doing
you for broadcasting. You do a really good job, and I hope to see
No,
you
thank
next
you, dude.
season.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Have fun.
absolutely. Thank you. All right, have a good night, dude. Yeah, but anyway, as you were saying? As you were saying, Dylan?
Yeah, I
lost
was.
my partner. Oh, no,
Nope,
there's
I'm
back.
here.
All right.
I think as you were doing the interview, we saw RBR was getting a little sideways there. He got a 3-second time penalty and then a 5-second stop go. So that's going to play a factor. I think he's one of the only a few drivers in this race have gotten a stop go, which is definitely going to be a factor when changing tires here.
Well, it appears that Mean Fern has pitted, I believe, as we'll turn on the detail to the tire. No, he hasn't. So he's just lost a good few positions, actually. He was up in 6th place a moment ago. So I guess during the interview there, we might have lost track of what happened. But yeah, he's been overtaken by BRL Maverick, Farina, as well as Adam Mack. So he's now in 9th place.
Don't know what happened there.
A yellow flag in Sector 1.
Saw a bunch of smoke.
Yes, we might have
Oh,
had
Deer
someone
Hunter
spin
and
the
Ard.
tires there.
Oh, they're side by side.
But the camera does not want to cooperate, as now we now follow Deer Hunter. Gonna ride on board as he dives in the first corner. He runs a bit wide there. That's not ideal for the exit, but either way, he is now putting the pressure on Ard. So now we've got a race for the front. While Boss Cookie was leading, it was a bit of a snooze fest for the leaders because he was running away with it. But now that he's gone, anything can happen. Anyone can win this race. Ard looks fast. Deer Hunter looks fast. RBR is now in the mix, coming from behind. It looks like we've got a three-way battle for the win right now, effectively, since ERS has so many penalties at this stage.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but like I said at the beginning, I think RBR is definitely going to make his way to the front. Definitely going to be a challenger. We've seen him be quick all this entire race, setting fastest lap after fastest lap.
Yeah, well, Deer Hunter closes it in there in the braking zone, gets about a half a car length closer to Ard. So, gets a worse exit, though, and in the next straightaway, and that sets up RBR for a solid exit. So that's going to close the three of them together even more as they travel into the third sector. Oh, Ard goes very wide there and opens the door for Deer Hunter on the inside. The camera on the front wing doesn't show the full picture, but there he goes up the inside. Deer Hunter making a move, and he hits the sausage curve now, and that sets up RBR for a good corner. So now it looks like he backed off a little bit, a little too risky to make an overtake in the third sector. Very tight sector, but anyways, what a battle we have here for the lead.
Yeah, RBR definitely going to be able to make use of Deer Hunter and Ard battling here, as well as ERS Moons, who's gained slightly on that rather large gap he has accumulated to RBR.
Oh, as RBR fishtails it there in the penultimate corner, you can see ERS Ham Newton is lurking there in the background. So although he has so many penalties, he's not out of it just yet, as he actually now pits. So he and Ard have gone to the pit lane. So it looks like it's going to be a one-stop midway through the race, lap 14 to 28. That'll get them another 14 laps to the end. I mean, effectively, since this is lap 14, it'll be an additional lap. So it'll be 13 and 15 for the two different stints. So we'll see what happens here, as Deer Hunter is going to do the overcut, it appears. He's going to pit this time around. I'd imagine RBR will follow him in, but yeah, right now the leader is Deer Hunter, and right second place is RBR. All right, well, we'll check where ERS as well as ARD came out. If they are in traffic, that's going to work wonders for Deer Hunter. And it appears they will face traffic as Ferrari Nut is directly ahead of ARD. So we'll see what happens here. If he can hold him up, that'll be wonderful for Deer Hunter as well as RBR on that outlet, on that extra lap, the overcut. Because as we said, that clean air is very crucial. Having fast laps to run is very important when you're trying to do both an undercut or an overcut. It looks like there might be some restrictions here for ARD, as we now see ERS is even making overtakes right now. He's making an overtake on Formula Ragers. This is not good for his undercut idea.
Yeah, I think R's going to need to make up some positions like pretty rapidly here, as I think RBR might be getting a gap as he just pitted.
Yeah, this is where it's going to kill ARD right here. Ferrari Nut is directly ahead of him now in the third sector. A lot of dirty, as we now see a caution in the third sector. That's where our leaders are. It appears that there's enough. Oh, it looks like RBR lost a bit of time, so he maybe slid and half spun a little bit. That triggered the yellow, so. Yeah, here they come. They're both coming into the pits now, and this will be the overcut, so let's see where they come out as RBR gets tangled up on the curb there a little bit on the right side as he enters. But yeah, this effectively might be the battle for second. That effectively is the battle for second in the pits now, as it appears that ARD will be able to resume with the race lead here. As it comes to the final corner, Ferrari Nut pits in front of him. Across the line, it looks like it's been a pretty decent lap for him, even though he was stuck behind that traffic of Ferrari Nut. But here he is, promoted up to second and now up to first. So yes, that undercut was able to work for ARD. So he is now your leader again. And yeah, well, as he loses the back end there in the fast right-hander. So not an ideal racing line whatsoever for him, and that opens up the Deer Hunter. That opens the battle right up for Deer Hunter again. So he's all over ARD after that costly mistake, and we've got a battle once again for the lead.
Yeah,
what
it's going to
happened
be.
to RBR? He's 5.9 seconds behind. So something must have happened to RBR there coming out.
It was the
5-second
penalty.
Oh, it was. Yes, that is true. So RBR, that's not good for his race. I mean, he's got a lot of time to make up and not much time to do. It's only 14 laps in the wet. Actually, in the wet, that's a lot of time. I mean, I think it's like 2-minute lap times here, so he's got a lot of time to make up that time. But we'll see what happens. Deer Hunter is now very close to ARD, only 8 tenths back. Yeah,
I think RBR is too smart of a guy to not have factored in that 5-second penalty. I think he knew all about that all along. I think he knows what lap times he has to set to catch the leaders at this point. I think he'll try his best to do that.
Just for a quick moment, I will just let you guys know who's watching. Oh, hold on. ERS Ham Newton's out of the race. ERS has just wrecked in Sector 3.
Wow.
So there goes my one to watch. He's out of the race. On his first lap on the fresh rubber, too.
Wow. So, I mean,
it might have been the cold tires, actually.
Oh, he's a Haas.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah. He is. So that plays in very well for me. For ERS Oxy needs to stick up his end of the bill and get up in the points, but I mean, this opens it up a little bit if he's able to recover his race.
Yeah, now if Skeppy crashes, this is it for Haas. So Skeppy's really got to, be focused for this last few laps here. This is going to be crucial for the constructors.
Absolutely, as we've said, anything can happen in the rain, and anything can happen in Formula One, as we just saw. Two of our top competitors, Boss Cookie and ERS Ham Newton, have wrecked all on their own. So it appears that skill can't save you all the time. Sometimes a mistake will happen, and that will cause you to leave the race with a retirement. So not ideal races for them, but definitely open this race up for the guys up front right now. ARD and Deer Hunter. Yeah, more yellows in the third sector. That may have still been the remnants there of ERS, but we'll see. It appears that there's no one off right now, but anyways, back up to the battle for the lead. ARD has actually stretched his gap on Deer Hunter to over a second at 1.3, so looks like that undercut, even though he's got one lap older tires, theoretically, he's been able to drive away a little bit. And part of that might be due to the temperature. So as I mentioned real quick right there, it's a lot harder to warm up your tires in the wet. So since he had that extra lap on that fresher rubber, he's had an extra lap to put the temperature in, and that might have been what but it caught out ERS there on those cold tires. You might have thrown it in the wall with a loss of grip.
Yeah, RBR got a little sideways there, I think, into turn 14. Yeah, that was a very scary moment from my perspective.
Well, RBR has already reeled in a second, so it's going from 5.9 to 4.9 in the last couple of laps, so he's not out of this one just yet, as Deer Hunter now brings it within a second at 9/10, 8/10 for a quick second there, as Arj sets the fastest lap of the race.
I think
RBR now sets the fastest lap of the race, so yeah, he's coming.
Yeah, RBR is definitely coming. I think he knows exactly what he did to catch the leaders, but I think Ard, if he's clean about it, I think he's gonna turn into the next boss cookie for this race. Kind of just set the pace and try and get that gap. But Deer Hunter is definitely not gonna have any of it.
Well, now it's 6/10 as they get on the back straightaway here. Right on board Deer Hunter here, as he's still a little bit too far back to make a move. A little bit far back for that slipstream, and it's been a bit of a killer for the race today. Is that this straightaway is very, very good at overtaking when the DRS is enabled, but because of the rain, we don't have the DRS available in this race. So definitely gonna be harder to overtake. So I mean, it was expected not to see too many position changes because of that, but we have seen a decent amount of overtaking so far. So we'll see if Deer Hunter can keep that trend up and make that pass for the lead.
Yeah, I think Ard's actually coming up on lap traffic here, so they might play a factor into who is faster with getting through the solar cars.
Yeah, meanwhile, it seems that the gap to RBR has plateaued a little bit, as it's now still 4.9, so he loses the back end there a little bit. Now it's going to 5.3 as he loses the back end there. He gets caught out on the curb on the left side, so he locks up then as well in the back corner. So that just proves how tough the conditions are, how tough it is to catch up to these drivers up front.
Yeah, RBR obviously pushing as hard as he can just to try and get an edge and just close that gap. It's actually extending. I think he's maybe overdriving a little bit. I think he's definitely working a little bit too hard on this lap, making mistakes. That's just pretty much human error. He's just trying to. He's just desperate.
His Ard runs wide in the first corner. Oh, that's opened up the door for Deer Hunter, but it looks like he closed the door, similar to ERS earlier in the race. Closed the door immediately, and that made Deer Hunter jump off the gas and possibly on the brake. That killed his momentum as they came through that second and third corner. But either way, Deer Hunter's much closer than he was the previous lap. We're going to run on board this time. He's setting up that exit. Oh, he goes for an early
This is
apex.
definitely his chance right here.
Oh. Yeah, but no, that's the problem. He went for a way too early apex. That killed his exit. As you can see, Ard just stretched it out to 8/10 from the 3/10 gap he had. So damn, what an exit there for Ard.
I think that was pretty lucky for Ard. I don't think that's going to happen too many more times in this race. I think if he keeps making those mistakes, I think it's going to bite him at some point. I think Deer Hunter is going to be ready to attack once Ard makes another mistake like that.
Yeah, but either way, ever since he won that race in Circuit of the Americas, it really looks like Deer Hunter's upped his game. As every race since, he's been a contender to win this thing. So he's definitely showing his pace and flexing his muscles for the next season. As they now come through the third sector, it's a 7/10 gap, so he's starting to reel him in a little bit once again, as RBR all of a sudden has cut it down to 3.3, so that a little bit of scuffle there between the two top drivers as they enter the back straightaway has allowed him to catch up a significant amount. So it's gone from 5.3 seconds to 3.2 in just one lap. So we definitely have to keep attention on RBR, as he's fishtailing a little bit there, but he's definitely catching really quickly.
Yeah, RBR is, I think, in the zone at this point. As long as he keeps his focus, doesn't make too many mistakes, I think he's definitely going to be able to catch leaders the next few laps. Oh, another fastest lap.
As he sets the fastest lap, yeah. Either way, Deer Hunter is now caught right back up to Ard. He's all over his gearbox once again. He's got to try and keep it close, even though he's in that dirty air through the high-speed corner. He does that relatively well, as it's a 4/10 gap as they now come into the second sector. He's got to go for a late apex here. If he goes for an early apex like he did last lap, he's not going to get the move done. There he goes. He goes for a late apex, and he's going to get a better exit here, but Ard still seems to get the power down a little bit better, so he's not going to be able to get it done this time.
Obviously, the battle going on for first here, but also if we can look at the gap from Meanfern to Skeppy, which is closing at a decent rate, and Meanfern he really needs to get past Skeppy for that Constructors Championship.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he gets around Skeppy, he's going to have to really hope that Skeppy falls off the pace because it looks like he's not being bailed out by his teammate whatsoever here. ZRS Oxys, 4/10 off of the Ring Wraith, and the Ring Wraith is 41 seconds off of 12th, who is 39 seconds off of 11th. So it's basically like a minute and a half away from the points. So it's all going to be down to Skeppy and Moonfern to decide the constructor battle today.
Yeah, definitely, and I think if Sam Newton hadn't have crashed, I think he would have extended that gap to the McLarens and maybe just an extra buffer of safety, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, well, Deer Hunter is very close to Art as they come up to the penultimate corner here. He's definitely setting himself up for a good position, but RBR has cut it down to 1.1, so just like we saw at the end of the first stint, we got a three-way battle for the lead, and this is shaping up to be a wonderful finish here in Abu Dhabi. Art has gone wide through this corner a lot, but he keeps it clean there in the first corner. He's now actually able to stretch Deer Hunter a little bit. That way he brings it out to a 7/10 lead as it was 4/10 last lap. So a good lap there for Ard. Not so much a good lap for Deer Hunter. Now RBR is only 5/10 behind him. So we're going to ride on board on RBR as he actually catches the curve there on the left, which kind of hurts his exit. But he's still getting a beautiful late apex, and that should get a decent exit, and it does. So we'll see what he can do in the slipstream of Deer Hunter here down the back straight. Going to turn the overtake mode up on the ERS, but it's not going to get him close enough, as I'd imagine Deer Hunter also has that turned up. He's a bit too far back there as he catches the curve there on the inside, but gets a decent exit onto the second long straight here. Deer Hunter is a bit closer this time, so he might be able to make a peek on the inside, possibly, as they come into the heavy braking zone, but nope, he's not close enough. So Deer Hunter is still able to hold on to second place. If I'm Deer Hunter, I really want to get around Ard right now to try and put a car between me and RBR, because RBR is seriously quick at the moment.
Yeah, I think this race has actually just been a great example of the things that can happen in F1 and how quickly things can change. As we have yellows in sector 2 and 3 for something. Looks like Traceman had a incident there.
There is front wing damage there. It appears that there was arrow. What am I trying to say? There were arrow pieces from the front wing on the track.
Yeah.
Coming out of the second straightaway there. Yeah, as you can see it right there in the shot as we see Vanderstark go down the straightaway. So yeah, it looks like someone might have broken their front wing and triggered the yellow there.
Yeah. So like, I mean, as I was saying, I think these drivers are also lucky. I don't want to jinx it, obviously, but that the rain has been actually decent to them. They haven't had to switch on to the full wets or the dries. I think this has been pretty, at least strategical, easier wet race.
Yeah, well, we're now 3/4 through the race, lap 21 out of 28, 25% of the way to go. We'll see how this is going to end. I mean, Deer Hunter finally appears to get a good exit there, and Ard pulls it away on the acceleration. So it looks like Ard might be set up a little bit better for the wet. He may have seen the wet weather coming and set up a better, higher downforce setup to get such an exit there on Deer Hunter. Not many people looked at that weather report, as I alluded to earlier, but since this is Abu Dhabi, so that might be setup really playing out here. As RBR now gets a great exit on Deer Hunter. Going to ride on board with him as he now tucks into the slipstream. He's got a great opportunity here to make a move. He's going to go left. Yes, he is going to go down the inside of Deer Hunter. Makes a move. No contact, but very close. But Deer Hunter's able to hold on thanks to the right hand. Oh, as RBR gets on the curve there and almost cuts the corners. That may have been a warning for him. Yeah, it looks like we're finally starting to get the action that we've been building up to the last several laps. They've all been very close, but no one's been able to get an exit enough to make a move there in the heavy braking zone. But so RBR was finally able to make something happen right there. He just wasn't able to finish the move because that was a very awkward angle there on the inside of a switching to the right-hand corner.
Yeah, RBR, I just want to say 9 positions from where he started in qualifying. I think he's already up to third, and that doesn't even account for the 5-second penalty he had in the pits. So if you factor that in, you would effectively had to have the pole if he didn't get so many penalties.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely a contender for driver of the day with that performance so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, making up 9 positions in the race. Van der Stark has also made up 9 positions in this race. Obviously, those 2 drivers obviously haven't been paying as much attention to Van der Stark as we have RBRs because he's more at the front of the grid here. But yeah, obviously great performances from those 2.
You know, Van der Stark, I believe he missed qualifying, so I'm pretty sure he started 19th out of 19 today. And yeah, he's all the way up to 10th place. So I guess in avoiding trouble,
points.
as with ERS and Boss Cookie and NZL Venom, as well as Avenge King, who have all wrecked out of this race, he's been able to keep it clean as well as make some overtakes to get himself up into 10th place. You may say it's luck that's gotten him up there, but as we always say, you create your own luck in racing. You have to put yourself in that position to capitalize. Yeah, he's not close enough to make the moves. That's why I'm a little bit relaxed at the moment. But we'll see next lap as he's a bit closer now, as he's only 3/10 behind Deer Hunter in the 3rd sector. Sector 1, we have a yellow. Let's see what's going on. Oh, yep, as we have a spin. The ring wraith has gone around. Looks like he's able to keep it on track, though. And yeah, he's just going to resume his race. He's a bit out of it at the moment. He's last of the runners in 15th place and 26 seconds behind Trace Me. So not a fun race whatsoever for him, but it looks like he's going to ride it to the end.
If you look at GK Phantom, that is a pretty impressive gap to the car in front of Van der Stark. Or, sorry, SF1 Roads.
And anyway, it looks like RBR is closer to Deer Hunter than Deer Hunter is to Ard, so Ard is starting to pull out a little bit. He's been able to pull out that gap a little bit the last couple laps, as it's been, it used to be 4/10, but he's brought it out to about 6 and 7 at times. But as I say, it looks like Deer Hunter may have gotten a better run there as he's closed it into 5/10 now, so you never know what's going to happen with the setup differences as well as just who can cope with this weather through the corners a little bit better. So here they go into the back straightaway. It looks like nobody was able to get that exit that they're looking for. RBR, yeah, he's too far back. Deer Hunter's too far back, so it's an even 6/10 between all 3 drivers at the moment, so looking like it's going to be very difficult to make that overtake. I mean, they've been racing like this for several laps now, and no one's been able to make a pass, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, obviously very hard racing. I don't think everyone...
Sorry, it looks like RBR might make a move here. He's gotten very close, but not close enough. Once again, not close enough.
Yeah.
He actually locks up there and runs a bit wide, so he's going to sacrifice a little bit of time there, so... Deer Hunter's now closing in on Ard once again to make it a 4/10 gap, I believe.
I'm impressed with Ard as how he's kind of held both these drivers up. Obviously, 2 very fast drivers. And
as RBR picks up a penalty. That's not good for him.
10-second penalty for BRL.
Ooh, yeah, not good for him. We saw BRL pick up a good few penalties in Mexico. He's definitely going to want to get that penalty situation under control, but might just be a bit of a stint right now for him. But we'll probably clean that up in the near future. But anyways, back to Deer Hunter. I don't believe he's picked up a penalty yet in this race. I would love to check the race director to double check that for you guys, but this is too tight up front to look away from, so we'll just assume that he hasn't picked up a penalty yet. So, all right, yeah, thank you.
All right, so
yeah, I don't believe he's picked up. Oh, yeah. So let me know what he's got. Oh, hold on, RBR just went way off track. It looks like that's similar to what he did early in the race. We didn't catch it this time, but it looks like he's done that again. RBR. He's lost a good second there. So yeah, it looks like he's struggling with his tires and the grip there in the high-speed corner there, and he just lost the back end and almost spun. I mean, a wonderful save for him. I mean, yeah, he's definitely putting a wheel into it.
Unbelievable. Deer Hunter, this entire race, has gotten a single warning on lap 2.
How about Ard?
Ard? I will check Ard right now. We have multiple warnings, but no penalties.
All right, so he must have 2 warnings then, I'd imagine, if he doesn't have a penalty.
RBR, we have actually 4 penalties, sorry, for RBR. I think one of those is the 5-second penalty, so subtract that. That's probably about 9 seconds with the penalties, so he might actually lose his position to
Yes. As Ard
Skeppy,
picks up a
possibly.
5-second stop goes. He runs wide. Deer Hunter is promoted to the lead as he ran wide. So Ard ran
5
very
second
wide.
stop go for Ard.
Yes, he got a 5-second stop go. So that's
Wow.
ruined his race as Deer Hunter is now promoted up into the lead.
Oh my goodness.
What a turn of events. Oh man, so now Deer Hunter, this race has really opened up for him as he has picked up no penalties. RBR has a lot of penalties and Ard has now picked up another one. So, I mean, this has really opened up for the Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, Deer Hunter has pretty much kept his, he has kept his nose clean the entire race. And he's definitely been the cleanest driver out of these top few, and he's definitely gonna deserve this one in my opinion. But also, I mean, I think honestly, it's a race for driver of the day at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say it's a race between RBR and Deer Hunter. If RBR can really get a position here to show for it, like if he's able to get around Ard, you'd have to credit him with a wonderful drive, even with those penalties. But Deer Hunter, to be fair, started on pole, lost a ton of positions off the start, but he's been able to keep it clean, keep it in the tire tracks of the cars ahead of him, and just wait and wait and wait. And he hasn't made a mistake. He's just waited for the mistake of the driver ahead, and that's what eventually got him the lead right here. As Ard made that mistake in the third sector. So Deer Hunter's playing this race very well. He's definitely a contender for driver of the day as well.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. I think it's going to be, I think, all about opinion, as both drivers have really showed their stuff. And I think, obviously, we might have to consider, these might be so close, we have to consider some of the previous races, obviously, as there have been pretty, a lot of penalties and some contact in some of the earlier races. I remember Coda was a big one for Deer Hunter.
Yeah, well, for all of you guys, keeping an eye on that constructors battle. It appears to be over, as not enough points whatsoever for the McLarens to be able to make that position change. But
yeah,
Meadford has closed in on Skeppy.
Yeah.
It's come down to 1.6 seconds. So, but at the same time, he's under fire right now from Ferrari.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to try and ignore that and just push forward. As he comes to the third sector, Ferrari Nut is all over him. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if he's able to gain that position. But
don't know if there's contact or not. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Meadford has gone off the track there. They're still side by side as they go through the final corner. Ferrari Nut is able to get the position there. And yeah, that's it. So Ferrari.
Ard's gone off! Ard's gone off! In turn 4.
RBR. What has happened to RBR?
Sorry, Ard. Yes, Ard has gone off. And he's still.
So I don't know what happened there. Ard went off the track, but RBR is still behind him. So Deer Hunter now has an 11-second. Oh, it's BRL Maverick Rex out of the race.
Wow.
So that promotes Vanderstar to another position change. So he's gained 10 positions now.
There had to
he's
be
almost
contact between RBR and Ard. There's no way anything else happened. Look at that gap.
That must have been, yeah. That's no. RBR, I believe, might have front wing damage. He runs very wide there.
Yeah, he just.
He
10-second
picks up a
penalty.
10
His race
second
is
time
over.
penalty.
His race is over.
absolutely over.
Skeppy is going to get this position from him too. So that actually might give him
I'm
even
looking
more
right now.
points for
I'm
the
looking
Haas.
right now. The end plate, the right front end plate, appears to be missing on that Williams. So yeah, RBR's race is well and truly over at this point.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That would have been
what a turn of events.
Definitely would have been a contender for the driver that still could be if he can try and maybe turn this race around somehow. But it doesn't look like it at the moment.
Little Deer Hunter now. He's just got it all to himself at the moment. A 12-second gap as he's now got 2 laps to complete. Does not have to look back. He just needs to run his race and not make any mistakes and get to the end of the race. What a race for him. I mean, started on pole, like I said, and then fell back, but his determination has been very strong as he's been able to fight back and get that pole position back at the point. So he might be able to win this thing because of it. He's just got to wrap the race up, and we've seen, hold on, as Skeppy's now oh, well, hold on, what was that? I think we might have just seen a glitch there as a car just speared off into the wall. That was actually, no, that was actually RBR going into the pits there. It was a very weird angle, but anyways, as he's pitted, Skeppy's promoted up into the podium position. Ferrari Nut is 1.6 seconds behind, so all of a sudden now we have a podium battle between the Sauber Ferrari Nut and Skeppy ahead. So we'll see how this plays out at the end as Deer Hunter has well and truly won this race because of that gap.
right,
yeah,
I think
we'll keep an eye here as Skeppy's trying to hold off Ferrari now.
I think it's worth mentioning that Van der Stark has now managed to climb 10 positions from his from the start here, overtaking some of the top drivers. Obviously, that's with some help of the DNFs, but obviously that's to his credit as he wasn't the one who got the DNF. So, yeah, definitely a great showing from him, starting P19 all the way up to P9 right now.
I don't mean to commentate or curse anyone at this point, but Deer Hunter has just got to make sure that he's got to focus on these last couple laps here, because we've seen in this race very good drivers, BRL Maverick, ERS Hamilton, Boss Cook, and great drivers have just thrown it away and wrecked in the wall on their own.
Oh,
so
the battle between
Deer Hunters
and RBR here for 6th. Even though
RBR's on that fresh rubber and new front wings, so he's going to be able to run away with this one now.
Yeah, but RBR is also
secure the position on Adam.
So he might actually.
That is true. So we'll see how that happens when they cross the line. Yeah.
What's actually going to be interesting, I'm not sure if this is possible, but Van der Stark could end up with all the penalties, be able to get that spot from RBR. It's a close one, or maybe even the Renaults of Adam or Formula Ridger, but that could definitely increase his chances of being driver of the day, possibly, as one extra position. It would be 11 positions from the start.
Absolutely. Well, we're getting ready to round out this race here, as it is now the white flag final lap. Deer Hunter appears he's going to be your leader, as he now has a 15.8 second gap to Ard behind, so he's really been able to open it up ever since he gained that lead position. He's just got to focus on these last 2 sectors and bring it home. So, and it looks like Ferrari Nut might be a little too late, as he's still 1 second behind Skeppy. As Adam Max is actually able to get around RBR. RBR has gone off. He's spun. RBR has spun on the last lap, and he's now cutting the corner and he's spinning through the grass. So, and he's retired from the session. He's retired from the session, yeah. So what a miserable end of the race for RBR.
I have to apologize to RBR. I think I did actually commentate his curse, and from the beginning I was saying it's going to be a strong showing. Goes up to P3, battling for the lead, and just throws it away like that. Absolutely heartbreaking for the RBR fans out there.
Yeah, well, either way, we now see Deer Hunter as he comes around the final 2 corners here. Looks like he's going to be able to take, I believe it's now his 2nd victory of the season. They both came late in the season. He's going to win at Abu Dhabi, end the season on a high note. You see the fireworks going off in the rain. I'm not sure how that works, but whatever. He's won this race. Deer Hunter's your winner. 2nd place is going to be Ard, but we'll see how the penalties sort out here, because Skeppy is 5.5 seconds back. We'll see how the time penalties are assessed. What's going on?
Okay, so RBR got a 5-second time penalty for not sending the stop and go. Mean Fern goes up to P3 ahead of Skeppy.
Wow. So Mean Fern randomly gets a podium off of penalties there at the end.
And also Van der Stark gets that position from RBR after he retired. So if RBR had just not retired and finished that lap.
And Adam Max just retired. So Van der Stark is going to get another position. Hold on a minute here. He wrecked before the finish line. So here they are coming to the final corner now. Yeah, he did. So Van der Stark is going to finish 7th. He wrecked in the final. There he is. He wrecked on the final corner. There he is in the wall on the straightaway.
Wow.
Holy. Van der Stark from 19th to 7th. What a race.
Wow.
What a race.
I'm lost for words. That was, I'm sure he's happy. You got to get him in the party after this, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We're gonna try and get Deer Hunter, possibly Mean Fern, as well as Van der Stark in here. All 3 of them had very, very different but equally exciting races. There's a lot happened in all 3 of them.
I think we actually might want to talk to Williams there or Ard.
No, RBR is not going to talk. We learned from Mexico. He doesn't say anything, so there's not really much point in that. But anyways, there he is. Deer Hunter is your winner today in a crazy Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as it was raining there in the BRL finale, but
Yeah, look at those
Yeah, not the
teeth.
constructor fight that we were looking to get, but either way, it was an exciting race nonetheless. We had a great battle for the lead, a lot of controversy as very skilled drivers were throwing it in the wall on their own power. So, yeah, I don't think as a spectator you could ask for much more.
No, obviously a fantastic race. I think a great way to end the season. And Van der Stark, obviously such a great, wow, honestly, just such a great drive from him. I'm going to actually check how many penalties he had, even if he had any.
None. He had no penalties.
None. Not a single
What a
penalty.
race for Van der
One
Stark.
warning. 2 warnings, sorry.
What a
But
race.
that was, wow. Just great drive from him, honestly. I think we have to agree. I think driver of the day has to go to Van der Stark there. Obviously, I think Deer Hunter probably
Absolutely.
a close second for recovering those positions he lost in the start. Obviously, Mean Fern also had a great race. Where was that? Where did he start? He did get 2 warnings and a penalty. But he did start from back there, and Mean Fern made his way to on the podium there. Out of nowhere.
All right, well, we're going to try and get Deer Hunter into the party for a post-race interview. Being the winner today, it's important that we get him first. But yeah, once he's done with, we're going to talk to Van der Stark and see if he has anything to say. We haven't spoken to him yet because he hasn't really had a result like that yet. So great job by him. It'll be his first interview. We'll see if he's as talkative as Deer Hunter can be, or if he's as silent as RBR can be. Well, only time will tell. But we're going to try and get Deer Hunter in here. He hasn't joined just yet. We'll try to invite him again. But yeah, what a race. Try one more time, Deer Hunter. Just reviewing the notes here real quick. Gonna see if he has won a race yet. As we missed the commentary on Brazil. We apologize for that. So I'm not sure who won that race. We're gonna double check that real quick. Yeah, so Brazil was won by Ham. So Ham won Brazil. Oh, and we now have Deer Hunter in the party. Yeah, so here he is, everybody. Deer Hunter's in the party. Just make sure you've got. Oh my God, we have made a sincere error.
Sorry.
In this race. Dylan, my audio hasn't been in this party the whole time.
What?
My audio wasn't in here
What?
the whole time.
Oh gosh.
Oh no. That was horrific. Oh no. Hey, so now this is the first time you guys were able to hear my voice. Yeah, I just realized after the entire race that my audio wasn't included. I am so sorry for that. That will never happen again. That's very embarrassing. Oh man, but
Oh man, I'm gonna have to leave now.
Oh,
We
that
can't have
sucks.
commentators
But
like that,
anyway.
man.
Deer Hunter
Man,
just
man,
won this
we can't have
race.
that happen
Oh.
in the season finale, man.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that
sound like an
sucks.
idiot
Oh.
now.
I
Just
sound
talking
like a
to no one.
complete moron. I am so sorry, everybody. Don't upload this to YouTube. But anyway, Deer Hunter is here.
It will.
He has won the race. It's his second win on the season. They both came late in the season. The second one was the last of the season. So what do you think that statement says for the beginning of the next season?
It feels good. Like I said a couple weeks ago when I won at USA, you know, it was I knew these last few tracks suited me well, and I did okay at Mexico. I got spun, like I said, and I rallied back. And then Brazil, I got P2, and obviously here, arguably my best track, I got the win, even though it was in weird circumstances. I think that's only like my third or fourth race, just in the rain on a wheel. So that was sweaty, but it's good. It gives me some good momentum. I think I'm going to get second in the points now, which I'm really happy about that. But, you know, good season, good finish. I'm happy it ended on a high note.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you know that it was going to rain, or did you not see that in the weather?
I did. That's why in quali, I kept the 8 ballasts just because I felt pretty comfortable with it. But I moved my front wing up. I moved it to a 3/8 wing for the rain, and I thought about after that first pit stop upping it to a 4/8 wing. but I knew I was quicker than Art on the straight, so I figured I'd just leave it there and manage my tires so I could, have a crack at him
Hunter,
at the end. So
I have a question for you. Did you know what happened to ERS? It looked like he had a crash
to
in the
who?
final stages of the race. Yeah, I think because your gap was like 15 seconds to
Yeah, I think
RBR.
Ard, what he said was is going through that long right-hander, he shifted up to six, and it just spun him. And I think him and RBR got into it there, but that
Uh,
things like that happen. It was a good race. Like I said, it was just about minding my time and waiting to see what happened.
yeah, that was actually a really great recovery drive. I think you went back down to P4 at the beginning and then made your way back up to the race. That was actually a really good recovery from you.
Yeah, my starts are still trash, especially in the rain. But it's
Yeah,
just
well,
Yeah.
the fact
I
that I
don't
only
think.
lost 3 spots should be an accomplishment. But
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah, I just want to ask real quick, we round this out. So this is the end of a season, and this is also the end of a set of regulations. As we see next season, we're going to have a much different format split between two heat races, 25 percenters, in which case the qualifying order is reversed for the second. So what are your thoughts on that going into the next season?
I definitely think it'll be interesting, with the sprint races and reverse grid and stuff. It'll give me some good time to practice with no ABS, because I've been doing that in AOR America, and I've been having fairly good results. But I want to spend the short season learning no ABS, so I can prepare for season three. But it's interesting nonetheless. It's something different. It's something fun, and it should be good.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say thanks to Bossman Racing, BMR Esports team. I signed with them last week. This is my second win for them. Gotta say thanks to Fatal Grips, Galvanized Grips, Zentella Designs, D-Pad Gaming Accessories, BossBoxes.com, Rhinotech Gaming Gear, and of course BRL Esport for doing this league. And it's absolute pleasure to race with some of the best Americans, Canadians, New Zealanders, Australians, Britons, Mexicans in the world, and all of us come together for this season in the first season and see it come together the way it has. And it's a pleasure to be a part of, and I'm so glad to be a part of it and be a part of the journey.
Yeah, well, that is the most disappointing broadcast I think I have ever put out for all of you. That's bad. Yeah, so we'll next season I'll make sure that will never happen again. This is the first time I didn't host the party when I started the broadcast, so I think that might have played a hand in not having it automatically checked off. So, yeah, you didn't hear any of my commentary for the last 2 hours, so I apologize for that. That will never happen again. And yeah, we're just gonna round this thing out now. I mean, that there you have it. I mean, Deer Hunter won that race. You saw it. You didn't hear us really. I mean, you heard the secondary input on it, but I apologize. Yeah, I mean, we had a
Slow
special
clap.
intro involving the Formula One theme and everything on the way in. That would have been, oh
Oh
man.
no,
Yeah,
that was the
but
best.
yeah, I mean. Not
Danny,
not
what are
the
your
not the
goals?
strongest way to end the season, but yeah, we're gonna round this off now. I'm Danny Stevens with Dylan Beckwith. That's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We'll see you next season. Goodbye. Fuck.
Yo, you're so retarded. I've been sitting
Twitch
here
stream is
for an
still
hour
going
and a
right now,
fucking
dude.
half listening to your ass say absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a sweaty one.
I'm
My God.
upset.
Danny.
Oh my